Greetings, this is DJ Works back for 2024. Unbelievable. Feels like I've been away forever. Well, probably have. I think the last video I done was shortly after the final tag for 2023. So, yeah, if you check my videos, not much there. But I'm always on the VC, really. I'm always watching videos. Admittedly, as you'll find out a bit later, I'm a bit of a creature of habit with certain channels. But anyway, really been looking forward to doing Rob Walker's 20 questions, the vinyl tag for 2024. He did message me the other day saying he really enjoyed my input last year. So, Rob, I hope you enjoy this one. So, favourite record you purchased in 2023? Well, I had several, to be honest. I'll just give us some worthy shouts. If you like your dub reggae, this is absolutely amazing. It's immense. Prince Fatty and The Gorgon in dub. It's a limited release on what was it, on Gorgon Music out of England, and the pressing is on a heavyweight pressing, and the quality and the just the dub sounds are just absolutely immense. So big speaker time, people. All your subs, slap your subs up. Prodigy reference, if for those that know. Another one, as you'll get to see a bit later, I'm a big fan of Khruangbin out of here in Houston. But I got switched on to another band, very much in the same vein to Khruangbin, called Balthus. This is a limited copy. I think it's limited to 300 pressings, yeah. Translucent green. It says on the hype sticker, they're kind of a blend of psychedelic funk, indie. So they are in that similar kind of vein to Khruangbin. But just more, I'd say more jazzy and psycho funk, if you can call it that. Just a real interesting album. They've only got two, which is that one's Cause and Effect. Got another one called Macrocosm, which I've been trying to get for ages in the US without much success, but a buddy of mine in England just got me a copy, so I will look forward to getting that. A group I got switched on to in 2022 was the Portico Quartet, and I bought this one. This is live in Studio One at Abbey Road, limited to 1,500 pressings on clear vinyl. This was their album Terrain, the extended version, double pressing. Absolutely loved that last year, and then last year they re-released this, and this is my album of the year, my most favourite album, Art in the Age of Automation. Now, if you look up Portico Quartet on Discogs, it'll say something along the lines of cannot be defined by any specific genre. And that's me. That's what I like about music. I hate just being stuck in certain genres and genre specific. If I had the time to devote to my channel, you would certainly see that I'm not going to just talk all about one kind of music, even though I've got a great passion for electronic music of all different genres. But this is really good. This is kind of jazzy, experimental, lush synth pads with, it almost sounds like an oboe or a clarinet that they use a lot. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a sampled sound. But it's kind of jazzy electronic, really, really good. So that was my favourite album, Portico Quartet, Art in the Age of Automation. It was originally released in 2017, but that's the limited repress. Last record I bought in 2023. Another group I've had trouble getting their releases for in the US. They're out of Australia, instrumental band, very jazzy, and they're called Surprise Chef. This is the last thing I bought. This was an EP of theirs called Friendship. It was a limited edition to indie stores, pressed on blue coloured vinyl. And it's just, again, like that jazzy, contemporary jazz, urban beats with electronic sounds over the top. A lot of traditional instruments. They've got vibraphones. I love the vibraphone. A lot of percussion. But just really good, modern, new school sounds of the 21st century, you could say, really. So, and that's another thing I like. I don't like being stuck in the past. I've got lots of old music, obviously, but always like to look for something new. Okay, number 3, a band or singer who released 2 or more albums in the same year. I could have picked Krang, but you'll see why, because they feature a bit later. But it has to be, and I make no apologies. I know this is a vinyl tag. I also listen to CDs, and I don't care. This is a great box set. Herbie Hancock. This is the Capitol years. Oh, sorry, not Capitol, Columbia years, 1972 to 88. It spans obviously 16 years, and this for the 34 CDs. So it doesn't take a mathematician to realise Herbie Hancock released multiple albums each year over multiple years. I'll pick 2. He released Flood and Manchild. Was that 74 or 75? 75, I think. Manchild is actually my favourite Herbie Hancock album. I've also got it on vinyl, but this is great. The first track I ever heard on here was on a funk show in England on the radio, and it was Hang Up Your Hang-Ups. And I thought, man, what a funky tune. For me, I think that's probably the most funkiest tune I've ever heard, in the unmistakable style of Herbie Hancock. What a genius he is. This box set's just epic because it contains a lot of the Japanese-only albums as well. So that would be my artist choice. Where are we? Number 4. If you could only listen to music from one decade, which decade would you choose? I know some people have tried to use creative license over here, saying a decade means 10 years and they've spanned over 2, but it specifically says one decade, which grammatically means 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, so on. Really hard. This is the question I struggle with most. Most of the music that I listen to really has its origins in the 70s. As James Brown said, all beats were created in the 70s. So it's just so hard. But I suppose if I go with my heart, it would have to be the 80s. Because for me, a lot of the music, because I've always been forward thinking on music, not just stuck in the past all the time. I'm always looking for genre, testing music, you know, like music that breaks different genres and tests our listening senses. And a lot of that has been done with the use of technology. And I really feel that the creative music that was created in the 70s was really taken to another level in the 80s with technology. And just the sound recording. I mean, we really did benefit from improved bass response in recordings, particularly in electronic music in the 80s. So that would be my choice. But I know I really enjoyed some of your members' input on this. You know, pulling out all your albums to show which artists you like in the 70s. So yeah, that's good, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to bore you. Anyway, number 5, show a record by a band or singer from Manchester. So this would have been my record of the year. In fact, I like it probably better than the Portico Quartet, if I could say that. I mean, they're just both brilliant. This is Peter Hook, obviously of Joy Division and New Order, New Order, I should say, ex-Joy Division, and with his band, The Light. And this was a limited release. This is Joy Division, A Celebration. And this is where he played both the albums Unknown Pleasure and Closer live at the Manchester Apollo back in 2022. It's the pressing quality on this. It's on clear vinyl. It's over 3 albums. There's also a CD, which is actually them doing New Order tracks, which I've not actually played yet. But the vinyl quality on this is just, it's super quiet. And the audio quality is just first class. And their renditions of the Joy Division tracks we all love is just absolute quality. What a quality performance. Peter Hook and The Light, Joy Division, A Celebration. If you can get that, I think I got that one off Bandcamp, but I can't remember. So that would be my choice from Manchester. Number 6, which band or singer did you listen to most in 2023? Now we come on to the Khruangbin input. So Khruangbin, they released not 1, not 2, but 5 albums in 2023. They were all live. Now I've bought all you got a choice. You got a standard cover or one that was limited edition with limited edition art, and it came with a limited edition print. And I bought all the limited edition copies. Where is it? Let's have a look. The first one was live at Stubbs, which was I think that's the venue in Texas, isn't it? You think I'd know? I live here. The second one was live at Radio City Music Hall. The third one was live at the RBC Echo Beach. Fourth was live at the Fillmore, Miami. And the fifth one, which was a double album, was live at the Sydney Opera House. Again, another contender for best album of the year. That live set they did at the Sydney Opera House was just brilliant. So that would be my choice. Number 7, show 7 7-inch records. I don't buy 7-inch records. No, I do subscribe to a magazine called Electronic Sound, which comes to me from England. And most copies come with a free 7-inch. And I've got a whole stack of those. So technically I do buy 7 inches. But I don't go out of my way to buy them. But what I thought I'd do, I've got a handful of 7 inches that I have bought over the years. And I thought I'd just rattle through them. This is something from Central Processing Unit. It's kind of a techno-electro. It's actually a flexi on a square 7-inch. And it's by Cygnus. And the track is Extraterrestrials. Yeah, typical new school techno-electro. This next one is a track by Figure Study. They only did 1 album and 1 7-inch single. This is on the Dark Entries label, New York. Sorry, Barclay, even. And this was a non-album track, so it's Lesson 1 and Pirouette. So that's kind of why I wanted it, because it just didn't appear on the album. The next one is Steve Crawford on the Upstairs Asylum Recordings, Detroit. This is a label run by Norm Talley, who's a bit of a Detroit legend. I forget how many 12-inch releases he's up to at the moment, but this is what infuriates me. I'm a 12-inch collector, and he's been releasing all these 12 inches, and then one release in the catalogue, Upstairs Asylum number 10, only comes on 7-inch. Had to buy it, but that's for my OCD 12-inch. Need to have, why did they do a 7-inch? Somehow I ended up with this. This is a Record Day release. I don't even go to support Record Store Day. This is Kenichi, another kind of techno tech house DJ producer, joined the pack. It was like a kind of an old school electro type hip hop tribute to Pac-Man the game, and then the B-side is actually World of Pac-Man. So that's kind of the original theme tune, you could say, for the Pac-Man game. The next 3 all released by under Kenny Dope Gonzalez label. Now, Kenny Dope is 50% of Masters at Work, along with Little Louis Vega. And as well as running Masters at Work, they've always had their own individual projects. Kenny Dope started as a hip-hop DJ. So he's really into his breaks and his beats and his funk. And, well, let me do this one first. So as Masters of Work, they had a pseudonym called New Yorican Soul. And they released a quite a well-known track for those that are in the club world called Nervous. And this is on his KD label. And what he did was, rather than make it a house tune, it's like an old school funk tune. It is absolutely epic. I mean, if you can check it out, do so. It's just good quality funk. And also, what he also released is 2 tracks by the group Manzel from the 70s, funk band. This one is Midnight Theme with the beats on the B-side, and also Space Funk with Space Funk beats on there. two tracks that were sampled heavily by hip hop artists in the 90s, which made those original 7 inches extremely desirable, hard to get. But Kenny Dope got the licensing and reissued them, so very good. Again, great funk 7 inches. Okay, who's coming to your party? Choose 4 music-related people to come to an imaginary dinner party, past, present. Who would you invite? Well, let's have a look here. Who would I invite? Hopefully you allow me to have 2 for 1 here. I'd like to have Ralph and Florin from Kraftwerk. Obviously, Florin is no longer with us. I have actually met Florin Schneider in the past, not Ralph Hutter, no, he said. I met Florin Schneider after a Kraftwerk gig in LA once. Incredibly shy person. You know, they say don't meet your heroes. Not that he was horrible, he's the shyest man I've ever met. Almost impossible to have a conversation with him. Very, very gentle man though. So Ralph and Florin. I also have Robert Moog, the synthesizer genius. Delia Derbyshire from BBC Workshop fame, with her history of experimental electronic compositions. I'd like to have her here, and somebody from the present, really, on the new generation, is Richie Hawtin. I'd really like to get all of them into a room discussing electronic music and get their input on essentially why they decided to pursue a whole different genre of music when there were traditional instruments around. You know, what made them kind of turn their back on that and pursue electronic music. Okay, we lost them. Choose one musician who passed away in 2023. Well, I'm sure Rob will remember from 2023, my vinyl tag then. I made a big song and dance about one of my favourite UK groups from the 80s was The Associates. And Billy Mackenzie, he committed suicide, the lead singer, some years ago. But in January last year, we lost the last remaining member of the original lineup, Alan Rankin. He was 64, I believe. Let me have a look here. I did make a note of it. Yeah, age 64. And he died last year, so kind of went a little bit under the radar. I didn't really hear much about that at all. So really, the only members left of the Associates was the latter part of the 80s, where Billy went off and took the name The Associates and recorded with other artists, other musicians. So really, technically not The Associates in my book, but stop waffling. Okay, imagine you could only listen to music from one country. Which country would you choose? I really didn't want to answer this, and I didn't want it to turn into, oh, he's English, he's going to pick England, which does seem to come across in some of the videos I've seen. And I mean, I do like music from Germany, always liked a lot of German music, obviously krautrock, electronic stuff. But I'd have to just go with England, because for such a small island, the plethora of music and genres that has come out is phenomenal. And that's through all the decades. I just find sometimes, yes, the other countries have put out good music. I mean, I love funk, soul, which you normally associate with America, but really, having lived in both England and America, collected vinyl and music in both countries, DJ'd, you know, you definitely notice a bias in the US, whereas in England, the access you have to different types of music is just phenomenal. It's amazing that just one country could produce so much music. So that's my input on it, but it's got nothing to do with the fact that I'm English. Okay, number 11. Name 3 vinyl community channels you discovered in 2023. Well, that's easy. I didn't discover any. I'm sorry. I mean, I've watched a few over the years, and I'll give a few shout outs. John, the 6-inch pianist. I love his enthusiasm. I love his collection. I'd love to just go around for a coffee one time and have a look through what he's got. Harris Pilton. Love his sarcasm, his humour, his knowledge. He comes across as somebody who, I don't know whether he does this intentionally, but he kind of plays himself as a bit of a fool. But man, he's not a fool. He knows his stuff. Rob Walker, obviously, who does this. And another channel I've really liked is Embryonic Robot in Canada. He does like a lot of the same music as me, but it's just attention to detail and some of the artists that he collects is just excellent. So yeah, I really enjoy your channels, but I enjoy everybody's channels really, even the music I don't listen to. Okay, number 12. Show a record you bought when you were a teenager. Now, I was already into this guy, but I remember in 1980, I turned 13 and I went to an after-school party. I took my copy of Replicas by Two Boy Army, and there was a girl in there, I think she was 2 years above me at school. She had this Telecom by Gary Newman, and that was really the first time I'd heard the album properly. So obviously I went out and bought it. So that was an album I bought when I was a teenager. This is the actual. What instrument? Did I write it down? No, I didn't. This is a reissue. I can't remember what year it was reissued. A double album, whereas the original was just a single. My original copy came with a poster, which was essentially that picture, and a free 7-inch single, which was Remember I Was Vapor, and on Broadway on the B-side live. So yeah, great album. I love this. It's just classic Gary Newman. Okay, where are we? Show a funk or soul record. Okay, I bought a few soul in 2023. One album I really liked was an album by Melanie Charles. Y'all, my friends here love it because it's got that Texas vocabulary in the title. Y'all don't really care for black women, but it's listed on Discogs as jazz, almost avant-garde jazz, but it's very soulful jazz. I like it, but I took a punt, and these are great. I'd not really heard of this guy before. Dyke and the Blazers. These are issued on Craft Recordings. This is the double albums. And this is, which one's this? This is, I Got a Message. This is Hollywood 1968 to 1970, double album. And this one is Funky Broadway, which was Phoenix 1966 to 67. Just great. Yeah, he didn't live very long. I think he was murdered by his partner, shot, killed, dead, no more. So, young age, so there's not much material by him, but yeah, would you believe I got those on an auction site for brand new sealed $5 each. What a bargain. But I'm glad I bought them. Show a record you think everyone has, then show a record you think nobody has. Okay, so this kind of gives you a little insight into my world. I've looked at all your videos, and I don't have any of the records you think everybody has, apart from Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd. I don't have all the other contenders. I've not seen anybody put this one up yet, but I'm going to take a punt that most people may have a copy of this. Carole King, Tapestry. I mean, is this the most soulful record ever by a white person? It's just absolutely classic, and I think every track on there has more or less been covered by black soul artists at some point. So what a great album that is. Record that you don't think anybody has. What did I choose? Let me have a look here. Oh yes. This is Vape Era, Manipool. Very limited Bandcamp release. It's listed as trap, experimental, electronic, techno. yeah, it's kind of, it is very kind of broken beat styled, techno, ambient, it's quite actually relaxing to listen to. It's not dance music by any means. That's one, but I'm going to go for 2, sorry. And there's also this. Came in a nice actual bag, barcoded bag. This is NRSB 11. Essentially, if you are a techno head, you will probably know who James Stinson is. He was the founder of Drexciya, along with many other pseudonyms groups that he put together, and this is one of them. This is NRSB. This was this is reissue on clear vinyl. Came out last year. I think DJ Stingray, who's been associated with Stinson for many years, and Data Physics. I think he was involved in this reissue. This is the album, double album. I think that was limited to 2,000 copies, I believe, but it came with a free 12-inch as well, which is only 500 copies. So I don't know how they did that. Maybe some people just got the album and not the 12. So yeah, so I don't really see too much techno, experimental, electronic, new school electro. So if you've got it, show it. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see if anybody else is as mad as me. Okay, 15. She's Great, a record by a female artist you bought in 2023. Probably one of my most played albums. And I don't really do a lot of most played. You know, I tend to listen to the unique thing. I try to rotate things a lot. But probably one of my most played albums from the 90s was Erykah Badu, Baduism, which I had on CD, and also Baduism live on CD. Last year, I thought I'd pick this up. This is the reissued double album. I just love this period of Erykah Badu. Saw her live a couple of times on this tour in San Francisco and in London. Just epic. My wife and I we remember those, got fond memories of that. But the album I'm really going to go for, I have to mention my wife again, is Sade. Not that she's my wife, but my wife and I celebrated our 35th wedding anniversary last year, and she is mad on Sade. So I bought this double album, Best of Sade, for her, and it's a lovely pressing. It's just brilliant. If you like that kind of smooth jazz sound with unmistakable, oh, somebody's at the door, great. Probably my boys ordering food. If you like that sound, I mean, that's just an album to have. You've got to have it in your collection. The favourite video you posted on your channel in 2023, and the favourite video you watched in the VC in 2023. I suppose my favourite video, I didn't do many, if I taught 2, I think, was my first one, the Rob Walker challenge. And my favourite video I watch, I have to say, I do like John the 6-inch Pianist Down the Pub videos, where you just get to choose 2 singles that you would put on a jukebox in a pub. Always enjoy those, excellent. 17. Show me a record you describe as a 90s classic. Okay, well, this again was another troubling question. Could have gone for anything from the Ministry of Sound. That was released in 1990. I was a big attendee, club head, you could say, of the Ministry, MOS, in the 90s. The first one that came to mind was Violator, Depeche Mode, released in 1990. Also Fear of a Black Planet, Public Enemy, again 1990. But one I went with in the end is this is just epic. And there's a reason why I picked it. It's Dead Can Dance, Into the Labyrinth. Now this is a 2010, this is a later pressing, this is the Mobile Fidelity one. And I'll tell you, I am not a Mobile Fidelity fanboy. I've got a handful. But that is a phenomenal pressing. And it was just everywhere in the 90s. And I used to work in the audio industry, had my own business for a while in high-end audio. And that album has always been one that many companies have used to demonstrate their equipment, because it's just such a good sound. So that's my choice. 18. If I could walk into the cover, look through your collection and choose a record cover you'd like to be part of. Again, comes back to my old hi-fi days, reggae hits. This is number 12. But all the reggae hits albums featured high-end audio components. And I kind of miss it. Now I live in the States, don't get to go to the shows like I did with all my buddies in England. And so I just miss that whole culture from the days when I was selling and distributing high-end audio. What we got on the front here looks like old Roxanne equipment, probably a preamp power amp, maybe Macintosh power amps, looks like AE1 speakers, and also a Roxanne turntable. It's a flyer that came with it. Great compilation albums actually, these reggae hits albums if you're into reggae, but every one featured different high-end equipment, so it's just kind of an old lifestyle I kind of miss that I don't get to enjoy so much anymore. Okay, 19. It's like a greatest hits. Show a record you're so familiar with that it feels like greatest hits. This was the easiest question for me. Sorry, it's not vinyl. It's my original copy. Black Celebration, Depeche Mode. Every track on here, I could probably, as soon as it comes, I can probably sing word for word. I know that it's just like every track for me is just a great period. I really enjoyed that when Depeche Mode were releasing stuff. Fly on the Windscreen, that's another track I always use to test audio with, still do to this day. And what's the last one? Show me an album that was released in 1974. Again, easy for me. This is my original US pressing from 74, which I keep on my wall. Kraftwerk's Autobahn. Just an epic album. I mean, I hear a lot of pontification about music and artists that they're the best ever, or this is the best ever. Nothing could be the best ever. It's just all subjective. But when you've got a group of musicians that decide their album needs to be created on instruments that don't even exist, and they go out and make them, for me that's pretty groundbreaking. And when you consider the influence this album has had on lots of different music over the years, for me it's a no-brainer. So 50-year anniversary this year, will they do anything? I hardly doubt it. I doubt very much there's anything special going to happen. Obviously we had the reissues of all the Kraftwerk albums from Autobahn up a few years back, the remastered pressings. I've got all those, and they're pretty good quality. I like them. I can enjoy them. But that's essentially it. That's 20 questions for another year. Rob, thanks a lot, buddy. I'll keep watching all your videos. Hopefully you enjoy this, and maybe I'll try and get some more videos done in the year. But take care, everyone.